I have enough of these things to at least quench the thirst of a small army of Ghostbusters.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week was the nerd mecca, if you will, San Diego Comic-Con International, where DC, Marvel, and other properties brought their biggest news, releases, and more. Mike, have you ever heard of it?
You sound so calm and tame in that intro over there. You sound so reserved.
Well, I mean, I am reserved simply because this is the part where you get to say how you actually went there in person, and I get to be jealous of you.
I'm just imagining you over there. It sounds like you're just under a big cover with a cup of tea on a couch, just so how are you doing today?
Yeah. I'm just ignoring the world outside. Just Mike didn't go. No, that didn't happen. But you did. You survived.
Yes. Indeed, I went down to Comic-Con, and it was an amazing time, as usual. It was my 5th year there with my wife, and we've kind of finally eased into kind of exactly the best way to traverse the con. All cons are different, but San Diego Comic-Con is a whole nother beast and entirely. It goes on technically starting Wednesday till Sunday. We've decided that I think 2 full days at the convention is probably the perfect amount of time. If you start going longer, it starts to get pretty taxing. I imagine if you need to be down there more than 2 days, hopefully you're kind of down there for a specific purpose. Maybe you're part of a panel, maybe you're working it in some way, but I think 2 days is really, really solid,
I agree with that being, C2E2, 2 days of it and you're done.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go back the third day.
Yeah, it is exhausting, and you couldn't even see the whole con in 2 days anyway. But I think 2 days will keep your sanity there. It was really cool. Ran into some nerd celebrities, as I would say. Brushed up against a couple of them on the show floor. Saw a couple famous people out on the sidewalk, just walking around to get food. If you ever get a chance to go to San Diego Comic-Con and you're just walking around either on the convention floor or outside in downtown San Diego, don't look down at your phone, even if you're trying to catch some Pokemon. Don't look at the cool posters and billboards and stuff that they've put up over on the buildings. Just look out at the crowd. There's a good chance that one of your favorite actors or something could just be walking right by you and you don't even know it. So always keep your eye out on the faces. That's really important. But yeah, we had a really, really great time. We went to some cool panels. We went to some big ones. We went to the Luke Cage panel, and we went to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. That was really cool. Those were the big ones that were happening on the days that we were there. We went to some smaller panels, about writing and drawing, and that was really cool. Saw some cool animation panels. So yeah, it was a really, really solid weekend. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it every year. I want to go down there every year. I mean, it's been 5 years in a row. I'm gonna make it 6 next year.
I completely understand that. Good habits are hard to break, if you will. But you said you went to some panels. Did you get in any Hall H panels?
No. So Hall H is just a whole other beast. There's people that are waiting in line overnight, camping out in sleeping bags. It's a really, really big deal. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can kind of find a window where you don't have to wait too long, but I don't want to spend the limited time I have down there waiting in line, especially since we're going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that happened in Hall H today, and a lot of the stuff was officially released and dropped. There's some stuff that we didn't get the chance to see because it wasn't officially released, but I know things that happen in Hall H don't stay in Hall H forever, as evident from last year as well. So I just like to spend my time at other places.
Right, and you went Thursday, Friday, and Hall H panels are usually the Saturday. That's the big day for that. And we'll talk about the panels you went to as we get to them, because you said you hit a couple. You sent me a couple photos and updates, so that was pretty cool. But any other final notes on Comic-Con? Because this whole episode is pretty much dedicated to Comic-Con.
Yeah, exactly. we have some extensive notes here. I think we're about at 4 pages. Usually we're running about a page and a half per episode, so we're probably gonna hit these things hard and pretty quickly because we want to get as much in as possible. But I'm sure this is going to be an extra long episode for us.
Definitely, and for anyone who follows along on iTunes or YouTube or wherever, go to superheroslate.com and you can click on everything we talk about pretty much today. Almost everything has a link except for like maybe 3 or 4 things. So if we talked about a trailer or a logo, you can go there and click it because we're not going to sit here and play the whole thing for you guys because that's just going to be forever. But
yeah, this is going to be a great time to check out the show notes at superheroslate.com.
Yeah, totally do that. So first and foremost, we're going to start with something that's not Comic-Con related, ironically.
Well, it kind of is, but I'll wait for you to get into it.
Yes, so me and Mike decided that we were going to go see Star Trek Beyond this weekend.
Yes, very last minute kind of.
Yeah, 11th hour kind of for Mike, actually. You were at a concert last night when you bought your tickets, I believe.
Yes, I was waiting for Weird Al to take the stage last night when I busted out my phone, and I was like, yeah, I guess I can see this tomorrow morning.
That's how most of my stories start. I was at the Weird Al concert. I got bored, so I pulled out my phone. But we actually have decided to do a spoiler cast on Star Trek Beyond. For this, which we'll be recording after this if we have enough steam left in us. I've been talking to a lot of people how I felt. I rewatched the Star Trek movies this week. I love the first one with Chris Pine. I did not care for Into Darkness, but Beyond was an improvement on that, but still not as good as that 2009 one, I feel. How did you
I kind of feel the same way. I went into this movie with really not a whole lot of hype. This movie premiered on the first night of Comic-Con on Wednesday, and I had some friends down there that they were able to get into it, and there was a whole orchestra playing along with the movie, and it was outdoors, and it was really, really cool. So that kind of ties it into Comic-Con. But so I heard some good things throughout the weekend, and I couldn't avoid some of the Rotten Tomato reviews that were popping up in my Instagram sponsored feed. So I was like, okay, well, we'll go give it a shot. So I feel the same way. That first movie was so solid. I love that first movie. I love a lot of the unique things that they put in there. They eloquently tied it into an old series with time travel, and it all worked out really, really well. And I love the charisma of the characters. We do get an improvement on the second movie with this third one, and I thought Justin Lin actually did a really good job. I was expecting, Fast and Furious, and I got Star Trek, which was great. Mm-hmm. But I think once we get into the spoiler cast for this movie, that'll pop up in your feed if you're subscribed to us. We'll get more in depth in it, but yeah, I think it's definitely an improvement. It's reinvigorated the franchise, and I was expecting maybe this to be the last one, but it definitely looks like it's going to carry it into probably a 4th, a 5th, maybe even a 6th movie.
Well, yeah, they have announced the 4th one, which we talked about last week with Chris Hemsworth coming back. But I think this was another original story, and the first one was an original story, but the middle one was a remake of Wrath of Khan, essentially. So these original stories, I think, really help it, because I'm not familiar with Star Trek, so I like seeing things I haven't seen before with Star Trek. And the visuals in this movie, if I have to compliment it on one thing, were amazing. The way the camera moved, some of the angles and shots they did were just entrancing. But I also have to lean towards Mike a little bit and say some of the CGI was pretty weedy, actually, throughout the film, because they used a lot of prosthetic effects, and when compared to the CGI, it kind of just took me out of the moment, because I like what they were doing with the prosthetics. So, but I can't wait to talk about it in our spoiler cast. I've got some great ideas and stuff to talk about that. So subscribe to us if you're not, and follow and listen to our spoiler cast, I guess. So
yeah.
But that brings us into a Comic-Con announcement. Is Star Trek Discovery, a new TV series coming to, I believe it's CBS All Access this next year, and they gave us our first trailer, I guess, or a teaser for the Star Trek movie.
Yeah,
or I guess it's not movie, TV series, but
yeah, it's basically a ship leaving I guess a hangar out in space. I'm not really too familiar with what the ship is. I kind of had this similar thing happen in the Star Trek Beyond movie, where it's like, I know I'm looking at an Easter egg right now, but I just don't know enough about the Star Trek universe to understand what I'm looking at. So I kind of had the same experience here with this ship.
Yeah, so this one's it's called a Discovery class ship. And most of the ones we're used to is the Star Trek Enterprise ship. I think that was the one in the original series, and I guess Star Trek Enterprise, maybe. or something. But so this is a whole new ship called the USS Discovery. The first trailer is essentially a teaser. There's no characters, no cast, nothing. But they also confirmed this is set in what's called the Prime Universe. So the original movies and TV show universe, this is in correspondence with that and not the movie universe.
All right. That makes sense.
So their TV shows will stay in that. We don't have to worry about TV movie continuity catching up with each other.
Well, I can tell you I wasn't worried. So
yeah, I it's one of those things where it's probably really confusing, but I know people who watch it, so I try to keep up with them and had them feed me the Star Trek info that we so much lack, I guess. But yeah, so Star Trek, lots of stuff this weekend on that. One thing that didn't come to Comic-Con this year, and we kind of guess we knew this a little bit, is Star Wars did not really bring anything to Comic-Con except for a couple costumes, it looks like.
There was I guess the Disney event, or no, not what was it, Star Wars Europe, or what?
Star Wars Celebration Europe.
Yeah, whatever that was. There were some leaked trailers that came out of there. I know you sent me a couple leaks, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait until something's official. This is just all blurry, so.
Yeah, so we got a couple looks at some costumes for Rogue One, a Star Wars story here. We got this guy named Edrio Two Tubes, and apparently he works with one of the characters, and he kind of looks like he's got an old Darth Vader box on his chest kind of thing. And I don't know, it's good to see some practical effects and some costumes, and then we get to see two creatures affectionately dubbed Pow and Bistan, which one was called Largemouth and like Little Rodent Dude, I guess is what they look like. Either way, these are some Rogue One characters, and I thought they were cool since we're not going to share the leaked footage since Mike deemed it too blurry.
Yeah, not good enough for me.
Talk about these Rogue One costumes. This was really at the beginning of the week when we didn't have much news. So if you want to see those, YouTube or show notes for the links. But that brings us to Star Wars Episode 8 confirmation that is wrapped filming. Episode 8 is in the can, Mike. And that means we now have a year and a half of them editing this movie before we get to watch it.
Yes, we do. I definitely expect some sort of teaser trailer or something around the end of the year. I don't know if maybe they'll put it in front of Rogue One or not. I mean, they didn't do that for The Force Awakens technically, so I don't really know. Maybe I don't know if they want to take the steam away from Rogue One with an Episode 8 trailer or not, but I think we'll be getting something soon.
Yeah, I mean, a year and a half is a very long time to have a movie in the can without anything going on. Most of the time, like Rogue One hadn't even started filming by the time Force Awakens was released, I feel, or at least it was very early. So, I mean, I definitely see them hyping this movie up a year before, giving us the name of the movie, maybe the same week Rogue One comes out, and really bring people into Rogue One because of all the bad rumors we've heard over the past couple months. I think it'd be great. So I want to see some Episode 8 stuff, and I'm really hyped on Star Wars. When I went to the honeymoon, I built custom lightsabers down there at Disney World, and I gave one to my brother and my new brother-in-law as like their wedding gifts, or like honeymoon gifts, and yesterday, and they were like blown away by like custom lightsabers. So
you gotta get gifts for everybody nowadays when you get married.
It's true, and getting all that back from Disney's the hardest part of it. I'll tell you that right now. That brings us, we're going to start talking more comic book stuff here, and the first thing I want to talk about is Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the video games. A couple months ago we talked about the rumors about they were re-releasing these video games on the current generation systems, and we got confirmation this weekend they are releasing them this Tuesday in HD on the current gen consoles.
All right.
So Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and Ultimate Alliance 2, this is the sticker shock I got here. $40 a piece for these games.
Ooh, you're gonna buy it and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Or you can get a $60 bundle. So that's actually more reasonable because that's a standard game price. So I'm just gonna go ahead and buy the bundle on Tuesday and have these games and start playing through them and getting my achievements. And the best part is 4-player couch co-op on these. That's
nice.
Something you don't get a lot of in this generation. And hopefully they have some, knock on wood, online multiplayer. So if anyone else is interested in getting a new generation console, Mike, you can pick up these Marvel Ultimate Alliance games and play with me. So really stoked to play those out, and that's I feel justified in our rumors. Whenever we rumor something and then it comes true, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think that's a good segue.
Yes, it was a segue right into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you were at this panel. You went to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel where they announced actor Gabriel Luna as Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So when we go into this panel, we get in a panel ahead of time because this is Ballroom 20. It's pretty big. So we sit down. We're kind of in the front part of the ballroom. It's really, really big. So we have pretty decent seats. So before everything gets rolling, I get up from the seats and I go to the bathroom. I nab a bathroom pass so I can get back in. So I come back and I sit down, and there's someone sitting down next to my wife. And I lean over and I look at it and I see the iconic mustache hanging down.
The handlebars.
I look at it and I was like, oh, that's Agent M. And if you're not familiar with who Agent M is he's basically the social media manager for Marvel. Like he's the dude that pushes out all the tweets, does all the social interaction, retweets stuff, blogs stuff, is on Tumblr. He's a very, very busy man, and he knows all of the secrets. So I sat down, I introduced myself, I took a picture with him. And I asked him, I was like, hey, are we in for some pretty cool stuff? You probably know everything you're about to see right now. And he was just like, oh, yeah. And I was like, does this have anything to do with that car downstairs that's covered in a cloth? And he was just like, I don't know. So he was very glib about it. And he had, the whole time he had his laptop busted out, had some sort of crazy Twitter hub dashboard thing pulled up with like multiple feeds going through. He was tweeting the whole thing. He was a very, very busy man, but it was really, really cool. But yeah, the panel was cool. We got to see kind of like a look back at the last season. We got like a blooper reel. There was some Q&A going on. It seems like Bobby and Hunter are more likely going to be coming back to the show, because that was one of the audience questions. Someone asked if we'd be seeing those guys again, and Jed Whedon couldn't say anything, but it's kind of one of those answers. Well, you'll just have to keep watching. So it's just like, okay. And then at the very, very end, we get this little reel of this flaming skull pop up. Yes. And then as soon as I saw that, I knew exactly what that meant, and I started exploding and blowing up, and it was awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked about Ghost Rider. We're like, oh, we heard this rumor, but they're never going to put Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then a casting announcement a couple weeks ago said, they might be looking at characters. I can't even think of the name of the characters right now, but it's the all new Ghost Rider.
Isn't it Robbie Reyes?
Robbie Reyes, like yes. Yeah. Not Johnny Blaze, not Danny Ketch, not the old Ghost Riders from the movies, but these are the new ones. And he drives a big muscle car. And they unveiled the muscle car.
Yeah, and it really, really works, because I was actually thinking about this the other week. I was just like walking around and it just hit me. Of course they're going to use the new Ghost Rider because he wears a helmet. And that's so easy to do on TV. They don't have to CG a flaming skull every scene that he's in. And then he's in a car on a motorcycle too, and I was like, this makes total sense. Plus we had that casting announcement for those two characters. I was like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. And I was like, that's specifically why I wanted to go to that panel, because I wanted to be there for the announcement.
Yeah, that's a great panel to choose, and I'm so glad that Ghost Rider's coming here. A lot of people are like, oh, it might be a cop-out, kind of like Secret Warriors was, because Secret Warriors did feel kind of weak being the title of last season, and they hardly ever used them. But I think Coulson has the thing for cars, as we found with Lola. So having this spirit infested car or whatever he is, they might make him an Inhuman. I doubt it, but I don't know. I'm really excited for Ghost Rider, and the flaming skull just kind of solidifies that. Like they're gonna go flames, they're gonna go skulls. Like they're gonna give us the Ghost Rider we deserve, I think. So. Mm-hmm. Really excited about the TV series. I mean, all the other ones are kind of canceled, I guess, as far as we know, or not working. Yeah. So they can put a little time back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and money. And that 10 o'clock time slot, starting in September, will definitely, I guess, give us some more adult content with this. So Take a look at that. The other panel you went to, and I believe this was the day before, was the Netflix Marvel panel.
Yeah, this was another one we definitely wanted to go to. Ballroom 20 is very, very big ballroom. It was also in there, but it's more manageable to get into. You still have to get in line about an hour and a half early, but we got some decent seats for this in front of a screen. They basically have big screens in there like jumbotrons, because it's like you're going to like a professional outing. Everything was very, 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 very well crafted in there. But this was the most hype panel that I went to all week. We got some awesome exclusive clips of the TV show. Of course, everyone got to see the trailer that came out of it, and even the reveal for some of the other things, but we got some of the exclusive clips of the show.
So you're talking Luke Cage specifically right now.
Yes.
So the first poster of the series was dropped showing off Luke Cage this week before all this happened. So that looks really cool. But then, yeah, they gave us a first trailer for Luke Cage, and it looks pretty awesome. He's throwing people into walls, and like we've got a teaser for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, but for him to come out full blast like in this trailer was just amazing. And we're 2 months away from it, so I thought Luke Cage looks awesome. Getting shot up, throwing people around, breaking stuff. You know, they rip a car door off and like busted down another door and then like broke into a building with it. So
yeah, there was we got 3 clips from did those clips come out? I don't even remember.
It is hard to keep track of it. I just made sure I got the trailer for everybody.
Yeah, so. We basically, one clip was a kind of an extended version of that one we got a couple months ago where he's in that gym and they're shooting at him and he's like, now I got to get a new shirt. Mm-hmm. So we got to see that scene play out for about another minute or two, and Luke Cage ends up shaking down this guy in his office for information. It was and he had some nice Luke Cage wit there, and it was really funny. It was really awesome. There was another scene where we got to see, I guess, what's going to be the bad guy of the movie or of the show. I forgot the actor's name, but he was in House of Cards. He played like one of the lobbyists in that show.
I believe Mahershala Ali is his name.
Yeah, I think so. So we got to see a pretty intense scene with him that played out pretty well. And then this other scene, which is really amazing, but I think it actually might have been cut into the trailer with what you're talking about, where he rips off the car door, he busts down a door with it, and then that scene plays out where he ends up wrapping the car door around a person.
Yes.
And that was really amazing. So it was just really, really exciting. All those clips were really, really awesome. But I think the most exciting thing about the panel, because of course we all think Luke Cage looks awesome, are these other things that we're about to talk about.
Yes, so we have our first look and a teaser trailer for Marvel's Iron Fist, the show coming out. Confirmed for a 2017 release through the thing, which that makes sense. But the first teaser of the show comes out, and it is, again, a teaser. We don't see a lot of kung fu, a lot of mysticism. But it's more of showing that they're filming it, and he does, I think, doesn't he knock a door down or knock a hole in a wall?
Yeah, he busts like a hole in the wall, and I was kind of hoping that maybe we see a little bit of a costume on him, but we might get something similar with Daredevil Season 1, where maybe Iron Fist doesn't even get into any costume until the end of the season. But it looks pretty exciting. I definitely wasn't expecting to see any Iron Fist footage at all. I thought maybe we'd get a logo reveal at most.
Yeah, well, we did get a logo reveal showing the snake in there in the Iron Fist. And then I believe a little bit of his story, like it looks like he was stranded with his parents, like saved his life, kind of like a Tarzan kind of thing.
Yeah, like some sort of plane crash going on there.
Yeah, and then he comes back and he looks, kind of rugged and trying to get in contact with people he knew. So yeah, Iron Fist is coming out next year. The teaser trailer is there. Again, it's a teaser, so don't expect a whole lot, but enough to get your blood pumping for the Iron Fist series, the last of the series, if you will. Along with that, we got one of these infamous Netflix Marvel teasers for Daredevil Season 3 being confirmed. No footage, nothing but a blinking sign in a subway, it looked like. Mm-hmm. What is it, like one? It's like 1, 2, and then like they're marked out, and then like the 3 is there when it blinks again or something. Very much a teaser.
And I think they pretty much just assumed that everyone knew we were getting a Season 3, just because they kind of glanced over this fact in the panel pretty quickly. They were just like, oh, and just to let everybody know, we are getting a Season 3 of Daredevil. And everyone was like really excited, but it was basically just Jeff Loeb saying it over the microphone. So we didn't really get any sort of like formal, like any image on the screen, but it was exciting to hear.
Yeah. Other than that teaser, that's great to know. It will not start production until after our next topic, Marvel's Defenders.
Oh, this was a moment in the panel for sure. So if you've ever been to like a star-studded panel for a TV show or something like that, usually towards the end of the panel, they bring all of the people out from the table and they bring them to the front of the stage, and they get like an official photographer to take the photo of everybody up on stage. But I think everybody assumed that the panel was over when the photo started getting taken. So some people start to get up from their seats and they start walking towards the door, and then Jeff Loeb gets on the back of the microphone. He's like, hey, wait a minute, we got one more thing. And then everyone's just like, what do they have? Like, we saw Iron Fist,
maybe the Punisher? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was like, what's going on here? So they start playing this footage, and we're seeing these things start to peel back. It's like kind of like newspapers and stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh, what is this? And I just knew what it had to be, just because there's nothing else left that they could talk about, and I was like, this has to be Defenders. And I was like, there's no way they're showing something for this already. And then it basically ended up just being a logo reveal, but everyone was like exploding with excitement, like freaking out, because we haven't had anything official for Defenders yet. We've had like official statements, but nothing image, no art being drafted. So actually seeing that up on the screen and hearing Jeff Loeb talk about like these characters will be coming together, it was just so awesome. Everyone was freaking out. It was great.
Yeah, so it's actually voiced over by Stick, and he says that you can you forward think you can beat everybody kind of thing, and that sounds like custom dialogue. I don't remember that line in the other shows. But it also had Nirvana's "Come As You Are" and like a very, very slow ending, or like slow version over it, which was really chilling. Like, this is a very chilling thing, realizing that we are at essentially phase 1 of the Netflix universe. Much like how the Avengers gives you chills, the Defenders will give you chills as well. So it goes to Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and then peels back to show the Defenders and like cut out letters and a hand, and then the actual logo pops up. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this is it is next year. It is 2017. Probably, I'm guessing a Luke Cage era. Like, it'll be the fall Netflix series. But I mean, we are within a year, or give or take a few months, of getting the Defenders finally on TV after a long arduous wait.
It's going to be really great, and hopefully you guys can get out to a big comic book convention in your area and get in a room with thousands of nerds and hear the percussive cheers when something like this gets announced. Because, of course, most of this all came out officially through official Marvel channels. But it's really great being in a room with a bunch of people just as excited as you are. So it was really, really cool. And that panel was probably the highlight of my Comic-Con.
Yeah, so that's great. You got to go to 2 great panels with some great news, because the rest of the panels we're going to talk about later, you probably would not have gotten into unless that was the only thing you wanted to do all week. But something I want to talk about is the Rocket and Groot animated shorts we discussed in other earlier episodes. They're actually being animated shorts on Disney XD that will like precede like the animated TV shows. So we're not going to get any Rocket and Groot movies or anything like animated films, or just like little short clips. And I'll link one of the previews they show with Rocket taking a nap on Groot and a bug flying around him. So it's entertaining for people in art and animation and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of cool, because I don't care too much about the animated TV shows as much as other people might, because it's not Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and that makes me mad. Now, this is going to be probably one of the most energetic parts of the show here. Marvel Studios panel was yesterday night, I guess evening, one of the last ones. And at the start of their panel, Marvel Studios debuted a brand new logo and intro for their productions going forward.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think I distinctly remember a few months back, I think we talked about news of Marvel Studios had a new logo, I think maybe in front of Ultron or something like that, if I remember right. So they're iterating this logo as their studio evolves.
Yes, so the big thing here is it starts off the same with the comic books, but then it evolves into pictures of their movie characters. And then those eventually fold around to show Marvel Studios, but the Marvel word flashes the 6 colors of the Infinity Gems as well right before it finishes. So they're building up on like this Infinity War. So I imagine after Infinity War it'll change again, because those colors won't be relevant. But it's a little longer. I think it's like 40 seconds long. But there's no Spider-Man in it as well. I just want to point that out. I went through frame by frame, could not find Spider-Man at all, which is not bothersome. But
we'll get him eventually.
We'll get him in there, and who knows? Maybe X-Men, Fantastic Four. But this new logo, this new video thing was a great way to start off what is probably one of the busiest panels I've heard of. Probably it's tied. DC did good. I'm going to be honest before we get to that point. But this new logo, click on it, watch it. You're going to be getting used to that, to watching it several times a year coming up. Probably starting with, I think our next movie is Doctor Strange with it. So we'll cross our fingers. Which actually brings us to Doctor Strange. We got a new trailer last night.
Yes, we did.
A new trailer and a new theatrical poster, which looks really cool. Actually, I really like this poster. Mike just watched this trailer for the first time before we started recording.
Yes, I've been very busy, so I finally had a chance to sit down and watch it.
And it is the first trailer I actually watched yesterday because we were doing a second wedding reception for local family. And what did you think of this trailer, Mike? I want to know your thoughts on.
Man, it's really great. We basically get to see everything that was left out of the first trailer. We get to see magic being performed. We get to see more mind-altering bending stuff. We get a lot more detail on what's going to be happening with the story, even though we kind of already knew how the story was going to be shaken out. Even though this is kind of being set in a very kind of more darker, mysterious world, we got a couple jokes in the trailer that were pretty funny.
Yes.
But overall it looks really, really great. They're really doubling down on this kind of like kaleidoscope, like
trippy
Inception
visuals
building.
Kind of
Yeah. Like we got just a little bit of that in the first trailer, but that seems to be a main part of this film is going to be visuals like that.
Yeah, so it definitely looks to be the most visually interesting Marvel movie we've seen in a long time because there's like realities turning into glass. They're creating portals across the world, other dimensions. Like it looks like New York City's folding in on itself because you can see Avengers Tower in one of the shots. There's just a lot going on here. It's very Inception-like. You're right, but at the same time, like we get to see him cast magic with his hands. What that looks like, and it feels very much like the animated Doctor Strange movie. There's even a point where he's raising his face up from just shaving his beard into a goatee, just like they did in the animated show. So definitely interested to see how this turns out. I mean, I think we're going to get one more trailer before the release this November, but Doctor Strange was definitely on point. We got some look at some costumes they had on display there too, like the official costumes of Doctor Strange, Baron Mordo, and the Chosen One. So if you guys want to take a look at that, feel free. But Doctor Strange just blew me away. I think that's one of my favorite trailers to come out of this weekend.
You definitely can't complain. It's not my favorite trailer. We'll end up talking about that a little bit later, but it was definitely good. There's nothing to complain about there.
An improvement over the first one, and that's really all we can ask for at this point. So there's Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's release will be followed next May by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And we got a lot of stuff on this one. I'll tell you what. No footage. None whatsoever yet. However, we did get a brand new movie logo. A lot of blue and red in this one, I guess. It doesn't look too much different than the old one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just a little bit more polished, I'd say.
Yeah, a little
figuratively and literally, maybe.
yeah. So there's the new logo, so you can look at that. We've also found this takes place 2 months after the first movie.
Okay.
So not too far off. We found out who Kurt Russell is playing. Okay, this is probably the biggest reveal. He is Star-Lord's father, who is also known by the name Ego. And you're probably like, what does that mean, Chris?
Yeah, I wasn't aware Kurt Russell was a planet.
Okay, so Ego is known quite frequently throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the Living Planet. However, he is like a character who can change his shape. He has complete control over his body down to like the molecules. So it's not necessarily like he sometimes takes the shape of a sentient planet to talk to larger like celestial beings in the comics, but he can also create little humanoid offshoots of his persona, kind of like avatars of himself.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Now, do they take this directly from the comics? We don't know.
Again, it seems like maybe they're not going to. I don't know. That seems very, very. I don't know. James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy is very unconventional with some of the characters that show up in that universe. So maybe they will do something kind of crazy like that. But maybe they just wanted to find a way to give Star-Lord's dad maybe some powers. So they're like, oh, let's make him Ego. I don't know. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. I mean, one of the original histories of him was like he was the result of a scientist merging with a planet when the planet's sun went nova. But there's so much comics, and that was back in the 60s when things were trippy as hell. So who knows if he'll become the planet or not. But his name actually is Ego, and you can actually take a look at the costume he'll be wearing in our show notes as well. It's kind of generic. Nothing gives it away.
Yeah.
Actress Elizabeth Debicki will be playing the character Aisha. We went through like 14 different names for her at one point in time. We're like, which one's she going to be? She'll be playing Aisha, which is the leader of what's called the Sovereign people. We don't know what that means. This is an original story. Could be anything at this point, but we don't have to guess what her name will be or what her role will be, but she will be the villain, is what we were told.
All right.
Lastly, as for characters goes, Yondu has his characteristic fin on his head in this movie. And this fin, actually, it's like a prototype fin. This is what he looks like in the comics. For people who don't know, he has a large red fin down his head. Mm-hmm. And it looks like this takes place in one of the scenes here. And I'm gonna read a description of some of the footage, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. I have not heard anything about footage, so.
Great. So, in part one of the footage, there were two parts of footage. The first one, Rocket and Yondu fall into a jail. And they said that, they're going to be delivered to the Kree in the morning, and they won't last much longer after that. And this is from a Ravager. So apparently the Ravagers have turned against Yondu. And they have baby Groot in a cage, and they put him in a Ravager outfit. So Yondu's trying to get baby Groot to help him. Sounds like baby Groot might have like attitude problems, like terrible twos kind of things. But he also has the prototype fin that he wears on his head that we can see in the picture, and all this other stuff. So the fin actually glows whenever Yondu uses his whistle arrow power. And so while Yondu is like blowing this song into the speakers, the arrows are like going like farther and like doing much more damage than before. Right. So it sounds like it enhances his little thing. So he kills about 20 of them with one whistle. So and then baby Groot is riding Yondu's shoulder throughout the rest of the footage. So and then he throws some guy off a balcony. That's the first footage. Sounds like Yondu and Groot and Rocket are going to be palling around, causing some trouble, if you will. The second part is that Gamora, Star-Lord, and Drax are together on a building hired to stop an interdimensional beast. So that's where they talk about these golden people, the Sovereign, who created Aisha. In the comic books, Star-Lord calls Rocket a trash panda, for all you internet people out there. Sylvester Stallone is in it. That's confirmed. A huge egg-shaped thing lands as Kurt Russell emerging. He says, "After all these years, I found you. My name is Ego, and I'm your dad, Peter." So, and there's that. And then he's like, "I created what I thought biological would be." And Drax asks, "Did you make a penis?" to Star-Lord. And Star-Lord's like, "Yes, Drax, I have a penis, and it's not bad either." So, sounds like there's going to be some like immature jokes in there as well. So we'll see how this pans out. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the first one's a hit. It was no one expected it to be as big as it did, and I'm excited to see what the second one brings to the table. I like the cosmic Marvel stuff. It's gonna be unique.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm not surprised we didn't get any official footage released. Probably a little too soon for it, but it doesn't surprise me that Hall H got to see it. One of the pros of waiting in line all night to see something like that. But that sounds awesome. I want to watch all of that.
I definitely think we're going to be getting it in the next couple months because it's next May. So this is our big summer release next month. So really excited to see kind of where that goes and where that is. Then followed up next summer, a year from now, we will have already seen Spider-Man Homecoming. Can you believe that?
Yeah, exciting.
So some of the stuff here that we've got, and this is actually kind of revolutionary as well. The actor Tony Revolori, he was in the Grand Budapest Hotel, is playing Flash Thompson. So
cool.
We will get that. And then the actress Zendaya will be Liz Allen, a character from the comic books. So they're playing characters we haven't seen a lot of in a couple movies. And they showed some actual first footage of the movie, even though they're still filming it. I'm not going to go through all of this, but a lot of it started off with shots of Spider-Man in Civil War, and so on and so forth. And then there's they're playing girls in this high school are playing Fuck, Marry, Kill with the Avengers because that's the universe they live in. And then there's shots of him running down a hallway, zipping a hoodie over his costume, climbing walls, fighting, and then one of his friends doing a handshake. But then the biggest surprise is the Vulture comes down a tube with his crazy armor, which we have concept art of. You can click right now and look at the Vulture concept art. He looks awesome.
Yeah, I was kind of looking over it. He's got like a very high tech type of costume. So this isn't like you may have seen him back in the day in the comic books where it kind of looks almost like cloth or something like that.
Feathers, like real
mechanical.
feathers, yeah.
And the mechanics fit very well within, like, I guess the technology of the Marvel universe. You know, the handles that he's holding onto the wings with kind of look like the armor and contraptions that were like around crossbones and stuff like that. The wings have fans inside of them. They almost kind of look like the wings from the
Quinjet.
The Quinjets. Yeah, exactly. So it definitely fits within the technology of the universe here. On the concept art, he seems to have a pretty straightforward helmet with kind of like green glowing eyes. I wonder if maybe that's going to get fleshed out more on screen to maybe look a little bit more unique than just a helmet. But yeah, so far this looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it's kind of dark. It's not full. We can't see the full body, so there might be some more on the back of it. But I mean, definitely fits into the cinematic universe. Definitely looks like it's a contraption that some bodies put themselves in rather than doing that. It kind of almost the wings give me a Goblin glider vibe to them, but maybe a little more malleable.
Yeah, and I wonder if somehow any of this is going to tie into maybe the program that made the wings for the Falcon. You know, because I just feel like it's too coincidental to have a bad guy with pretty much the same abilities that the Falcon has with the flight with this technology. Because I'm looking at the wings right now, and it looks like there's mechanics on the underside that make it look like it might fold in, so maybe he could possibly carry it around with him. So maybe this is kind of like a dude with maybe military background or something like that.
It's the Falcon, but with a goatee, like in it's like evil Falcon.
Yeah, but maybe it's something like that. You know, maybe Falcon is a good guy, and a good guy. He went along a path and got a suit and became a hero. Maybe this is like a bad guy who went along a different path and became a bad guy. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. We have not seen the Falcon yet on the big screen, so I think that's awesome.
Vulture.
Sorry. Yeah,
Birds of prey.
Confused.
It's
Two
fine.
birds.
However, there was a Mini-Mates toy panel who did say that the Tinkerer and Shocker are also in the movie.
Ooh, Shocker. That's
a shocker.
I think everybody's going to know him mainly from the 90s animated series. He was a big part in that.
Most people think he has electric powers. He actually has vibrational powers, and that's where there's like a shock wave rather than electric shock. So so people are that. But yeah, Tinker we kind of knew about. I think he builds all this stuff. And the Shocker will kind of have, I guess, Quake-like powers, if I was a betting man. So, but they said that they don't have enough reference pinks for these characters, so they can't build the toys yet.
Gotcha.
Yes. I'm skipping ahead of myself. After Spider-Man is Thor Ragnarok, which actually was the first bit of news I got yesterday. They have a new retro-looking logo. This is kind of looks like an 80s VHS vibe to it.
Yeah, it's a cool logo, but from all the things that I've heard about this movie, this does not fit with what I've heard. So, but it looks very, very cool. I can easily say that.
Yeah, who knows if this will change? We have again till next November. So 2 Novembers till this comes out. So I think it could change again if there's enough feedback.
But you know what? It does kind of look like a logo that you might see on the front of like a heavy metal album or something like that. And you know, when you think heavy metal, you think of like good Norse gods and stuff like that and swords and axes. So maybe that's kind of the inspiration they drew there, but it's a cool logo.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like there's a Far Cry game, like Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
It looks like the Blood Dragon kind of font there. So yeah, that's cool. But also we have confirmation the Planet Hulk Gladiator armor, and this is taken straight from the comic books, folks. You could not get better Planet Hulk armor if you tried.
Yeah, and I think this basically kind of confirms something we've been saying for a long time is they would probably never be able to hold down a standalone Planet Hulk movie, probably because one reason is the rights, yeah, of course, and also that, you know, there's just it's a weird way to translate it to live action because you don't really get much Bruce Banner on that end. You just mainly get Hulk most of the time. So it looks like they found a really ingenious way to fold in the Planet Hulk story, the best parts of the story, which is basically where he's decked out in armor like a gladiator, into the Thor world. And I think that's just a perfect mix. And that awesome idea is probably what makes this one of the most movies I'm excited for. I think I would choose to see this more than even Spider-Man coming out right now, because I kind of know what I'm going to get with a Spider-Man movie, and I'm still excited for it. But man, I'm excited to see these two guys in a movie together.
They're going off the walls for Thor Ragnarok. They're pulling out all the stops to get us hyped, and they have everyone hyped to a new level. Some concept art they showed that we don't have includes Hela, but also Surtur, the fire demon, was revealed to be in this movie. He was teased about in Earth's Mightiest Hero Season 2 and would have been the villain in Season 3. Before they canceled it, but I'm kind of surprised. I feel like that's kind of a throwaway for this character, but we got to see how he's used, I guess.
Yeah, so, maybe he's something that's going to kind of be bubbling in the background, and then maybe he'll come up. Maybe later. Maybe he's a villain. Maybe he's the villain for like Phase 4 or Phase 5 or something. I don't know. Maybe he could be bigger than what he actually is.
A Thor 4, if you will, villain, but. I don't know. I'm excited for Thor Ragnarok. It's high up on the list. Like you said, we know what we're getting with Spider-Man, but Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, they're going new stories, man. So let's get our hopes up and get hyped on that armor. Oh, so excited. Yeah. Black Panther is the movie after that in the, I guess, February of 2018. We got a little ways before we get there, but we're getting there. They also gave us a new movie logo for Black Panther, black and gold, kind of looking like. And
it looks awesome.
That gold looks slick. I don't think they'll change the vibranium from silver to gold, but if they did it on his costume, that looked pretty cool too, I guess. They also confirmed that the movie begins filming this January.
Awesome.
About on schedule. Michael B. Jordan has been confirmed as Eric Killmonger, the villain.
Ooh, villain. I like that.
Lupita Nyong'o is Nakia, one of the Dora Milaje. This is the Black Panther's like guards. They were in Civil War. It was going to fight with the Black Widow. Bald head, remember? And then so she's from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. She played the little short girl, the Yoda of that movie. Then I believe I'm pronouncing Dana Guerrera is
sure.
She's from The Walking Dead. She plays the chick with the katana.
Oh, gotcha. Dead. Yeah.
I can't think of her name. Michonne. Wow. She plays Michonne.
Yeah,
in that.
There you go.
And then she plays a character, Okoye, who is the leader of the Dora Milaje. So she was the newest casting addition, and they brought them all out there and confirmed this on the panel right then and there.
Ooh, that's awesome. Be wary, though. When people from The Walking Dead start to get movie roles, they might be worried that they're going to get killed off on the show. So maybe be on the lookout for Michonne. Maybe they get the axe.
Or the baseball bat, if you will.
Ooh, maybe.
However, you might think this is the end of the Marvel news. It is not. Much like their panel yesterday, we have one more big announcement.
Yeah, this was really, really big. I was not expecting this. This to bury the lead a little bit more is while I was waiting for the Weird Al concert to start last night, I was kind of rolling through my Twitter feed, to try to keep up with what was coming out of Hall H, and I scroll past this one. I'm just like, oh, holy crap, I can't believe they've confirmed this.
Captain Marvel has been cast, and it will be Brie Larson as Carol Danvers in the movie. And we have a new movie logo for it, so you can look at that while we talk about it.
Everything gets a logo.
Everything gets a new logo with the new Marvel Studios logo. Again, I think it's a 2018 movie, like maybe 2019 at this point. Captain Marvel's a long way off. But they cast Brie Larson, and she was on stage, and she got her photo with everybody, and they're more than welcoming to her, so we no longer have to guess who Captain Marvel will be. However, this early casting announcement means she might pop up along the way. Kind of slowly introduce her as we go.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. So what do you think about the casting announcement?
I don't have any problem with her. I mean, we reported that it was kind of going to be Brie Larson a few weeks ago anyway, so not really a surprise to me, but I definitely have no qualms with this as Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait to see her in the suit at first. I googled how tall she was, just because she always seemed kind of short to me. She's kind of average female height, about 5'7". But I've always pictured Captain Marvel just very statuesque, very tall. Something that little girls figuratively and literally have to look up to. So I was kind of expecting maybe a taller casting announcement, but that could be totally not an issue. I mean,
camera tricks, man.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise is short as hell, and it doesn't even matter. So I think as long as she puts on that costume, I'm kind of hoping maybe they shave the side of her head. I really like that version of Captain Marvel where they kind of have that faux hawk and the side of the head shaved. So I hope they go pretty daring and do that. But yeah, once I see her all fleshed out, all in the costume, I think I can get excited. But Brie Larson is a force, though. She's an amazing actor. So I am not worried about her acting abilities at all.
Yeah. So we're like a year and a half away from Infinity War Part 1. So she could show up there first, but I think she would. I mean, I don't think she'll be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 since she's created from the Kree experiments. But she could show up somewhere else along the way, so we'll have to keep our eyes open and see where she does pop up. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But that's all our Marvel news for this week, which is quite a bit of Marvel news.
So much. A big, thick stack of it.
Yes, a huge portion of our news is Marvel. But now we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about Fox and X-Men's offerings. Fox didn't bring a whole lot to this, to be honest with you. Something that wasn't brought up at the thing is actually X-Men Apocalypse. Home release date, digital is September 9th and physical is October 4th. So those looking to own X-Men Apocalypse, you just got to wait a month, or 2 months if you want to actually own it like I do. So that's it. And if you pre-order it, you get a Dazzler cover featuring Dazzler, the singing mutant who can turn voice into light waves or something. She has a record in the movie, and they cut that whole scene out where they go to the mall. So definitely very stupid move on X-Men Apocalypse's part to do that. Second up, we got our first trailer for the X-Men Marvel team-up show, Legion. And the first trailer is there.
This was pretty exciting. I wasn't expecting to get anything from this because I think the last time we reported, I don't even know if we said this was filming yet. I was surprised it had anything to show, but I was impressed. This trailer looks like they're making a really, really intricate show.
This is, to me, to use the phrase mindfuck, this was a little trippier than Doctor Strange was, to be honest. Because he's got powers, and they say mutant in the show, so they say he's a mutant. And his logo has like an X, like the X-Men logo. So I am interested to see where they tie all that into. I don't know what his power sets are, but it looks like he kind of absorbs them as he goes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they tried to imply in the trailer. I love that they're not leaning away from the word mutant. It almost seemed like this trailer was cut to where if you just removed 2 seconds of it, and kind of reworked it, maybe it could feel like an original idea, which I think works well in its favor. Like it kind of seems like an original concept idea of a show, but they're attaching it to the X-Men universe. And I think that might help it out really, really well. It looks really, really great. I mean, FX can put out some really good shows like Fargo.
Yeah, so you also don't know what's real or what's not in this trailer from what it's implying as well, which is really cool and kind of leaves mystique to it. And I want to see not Mystique the mutant, but mysteriousness. I want to see mysteriousness, and I want to go in kind of blind, kind of like I went in with Preacher, and I really love Preacher. So we'll keep you posted when Legion comes out this fall on FX, or I guess spring. I don't know, one of those two. When it premieres, we'll let you know and give you a lowdown. So.
Speaking of Preacher, I got to sit in on a panel with Dominic Cooper up there, and I had no idea that man was an Englishman. That really, really threw me.
Oh, yeah. I heard him talk. I think he did a preview for Warcraft before a movie I saw once, and that's where I found out. So
yeah, but he said he's definitely open up to the idea of coming back and being Howard Stark. So that's not off the table. No announcements there, but it would be cool to see him as Howard Stark again. But
yes,
that's my little Dominic Cooper tidbit.
And he was not at the Marvel panel, correct?
I don't believe so. No, he was on a panel of action stars, modern day action. I don't remember the name of it, but he was up there with some dude from Lost. He was up there with the guy with the flamethrower powers from Legends of Tomorrow, and some dude from Vikings
know details,
too.
So let's Oh well. Anyway, we're gonna start talking Warner Brothers and CW, and we're gonna start off with talking about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. A second trailer or third trailer, I don't know, I lost track, has arisen from the Comic-Con. It actually shows the Beast. So
yeah, I knew you would be excited because it's finally a trailer where you get to see the little critters, or the big critters.
Yeah, critters of some sort. It looks like kind of like a. You ever see the Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts TV show when you were younger?
Maybe, I don't know.
So Scooby-Doo or their team lets out this box of 13 ghosts, and they have to spend a whole series chasing them down and putting the ghosts back up. And this kind of looks like that. So it looks like he goes to America, and these creatures get out of his suitcase, and now he has to go back and find them and put them back in the suitcase. But looks like the guy who played Bullseye in the Daredevil movie, can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Colin Farrell?
Colin Farrell, there we go. I want to say Colin Firth, but I'm like, it's not Colin Firth. I know that. Is some sort of wizard trying to kill them or capture them for his own purposes along the way. So definitely interesting. I like this trailer much better, and they had the little Harry Potter motif playing in the background a little bit more.
Yeah, it was really great. Lots of action, lots of magic going around. I watched the trailer with my wife, who is a huge Harry Potter fan, and she was basically drooling over it. So we know that it's definitely catering well to the Harry Potter fans. And it seems a tad bit more mature. Not necessarily darker, but I'm just saying all the characters and the main characters in the movie are older than kids that we're used to seeing. So I kind of like that maybe we'll get to deal with kind of a little bit more mature themes in it. You know, there's
like
kind of a
paying
scene.
bills.
There was kind of a scene where two grown women bring two grown men back to their place, and there was a little like wink, wink, nudge, nudge going on there. So this looks like a really fun movie, and I'll definitely be seeing this at first showing on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll definitely be checking that out for the Harry Potter. It looks good, so I'm down. The effects look just like the old Harry Potter movies. The characters look like they're out of the old Harry Potter series, so that's cool by me. They're not offending me with this. Okay, that's what we're gonna say. And another trailer you watched before we started today is the Lego Batman trailer. I guess the second one or the first long one. I don't know what it is. I have second trailer written down, so obviously it's the second trailer because I'm always right. But the whole time you're watching it, I don't hear the trailer, but I hear you laughing at it.
Oh, yeah. It was really funny.
So this trailer features a lot more Robin than the other one did. Kind of being goofy and silly, and I'm pretty sure that's... Michael Cera as Robin.
Yeah.
So he doesn't sound as much like him. Like, it's not that annoying Michael Cera voice, like the nasally whiny one. So I was really entertained. The Batman there, the jokes are funny. I mean, I think Alfred's on fire at some point, maybe. It's just the humor from the original Lego movie is there, and like it's just Batman oriented. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
It's good. It's going to be great. I'm really curious where they're going to go next after Lego Batman. I would love to maybe if they don't do a sequel and maybe they just move on to a totally different IP. Maybe it's like Lego Gandalf the movie. I don't know, something crazy like that. I would love the Lego universe to just traverse different characters and just parry to that. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would follow the ghost from the first one who was voiced by... Morgan Freeman. Yeah, I would follow a movie based on him.
Maybe a prequel before he became the ghost.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I enjoy that. So Lego Batman movie, we give it our thumbs up. So CW brought some news a little bit here. Not as much as I thought it would, but a little bit. So the CW is rumored to be bringing Batman, Oracle, and Batwoman to the TV universe. This is not confirmed. This is just rumors, but I definitely can see it happening because they're getting all the DC shows.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about this a little bit last week, if I remember right. The idea that maybe Batman could show up, since we're getting Superman as well. I'm curious to see how that will work. I mean, Batman is such a presence, such a screen presence, especially with the Ben Affleck Batman we have. That costume is amazing. He's a huge, very dominating force. So obviously Batman's not going to be getting his own show. He'll probably maybe only pop up once or twice a season. Right. But I hope they just really nail it, because if they don't, it's just going to look silly.
Yeah, and a lot of you might be asking, but what about Gotham? Isn't that the Batman show? Well, Batman's not in that show, so it really doesn't matter. But CW's working things out with Fox to get those characters over, because Oracle and Batwoman and Batman are not in that show. So I don't think it would be a problem. They may have to pay them a little money, maybe, or something. Or I don't know what the terms would be, but I don't think it would be a problem. I think they could totally pull it off and get them over. And then also, actress Katie Cassidy has been confirmed as a series regular across all 4 current CW shows. Katie Cassidy was the Black Canary. And we know she died in the most recent season of Arrow, spoiler alert, but whatever. If you're in the news industry, you're going to get spoiled. So she's a series regular across all 4 shows, which is interesting because that includes, she's been in The Flash, she's been in Arrow, she's not been in Legends of Tomorrow that I know about, but her sister was, and then she also includes Supergirl now.
Yeah, I'm really curious how that's going to work. Is she going to come back as like from a different universe, a different Earth, and she's going to be a totally different character? I don't know.
Well, that actually might be answered in our next topic, Mike. The Flash Season 3 will be Flashpoint in a whole new universe. Everything's changed. The history of what the Flash did is now gone, and I think that will carry over to the other shows.
Actually, I am almost 100% sure it will, because another thing that you can get from Comic-Con is just a word of mouth throughout the convention center. While I was in the bathroom, I overheard one guy who was taking a leak talking about how he was in one of the TV guide panels, and in the panel, one of the people up on stage slipped kind of a spoiler out that what's happening in the Flash point is going to affect the Arrow universe, and then he kind of stopped himself and was like, oh, I don't know if I was supposed to say that. So yeah, I guess Flashpoint is going to be affecting the other shows. I still think this isn't going to affect it for very long. I don't think they're going to go an entire 23 episode season of just a totally different reality to revert it back to normal. I think maybe it'll be a couple episodes and then things will go back to normal.
I'm thinking up to winter break. The winter break cliffhanger will be where it changes. Yeah, maybe, possibly, but it's definitely not going to be the new norm. It's just going to stick around and give us some kind of new plot to play with, but I think things will go back to normal. Yeah,
just like in the comic books, that's how it always happens.
Yeah, so another rumor is that Aquaman is to make an appearance, or I guess a notable effect on the Flashpoint world. Because, again, there's like an Arrow, the blink and you miss it, Green Lantern kind of thing with Hal Jordan or something like that. They're at Ferris Air sometimes. So like there's these bigger DC heroes that are there but not there. But with bringing in Superman and Batman, maybe they're not too afraid to use some of these other characters now.
Yeah, maybe.
But the new trailer kind of shows how not bad, like it's not terrible quality, but how messed up the Flashpoint world is because of what Barry did.
I wouldn't fully know because I stopped the trailer.
He did stop the trailer. I watched it. To me, The Flash lost me a little bit of my hope on the season finale because of it felt rushed. It didn't feel like the actual show does. So I'm hoping that season 3 isn't just me like shaking my head a lot at this and be like, why are you're just changing things to change things. So
well, we all know the CW steams my broccoli when it comes to releasing stuff too soon. So I got about halfway through that trailer, and then they kind of started to show some beats that it looked like were going to be in the season premiere. And I was like, no, I want to see that stuff on my own. So I got to the part where they were showing Cisco, and I was like, no, I don't want to see this alternate reality Cisco right now. So I paused it. So
yeah, we'll definitely, if you guys are interested in the trailer, it's there for you to watch, and it's. I don't know. We're just going to have to see how it plays out. But I was looking for Tom Felton, the guy who plays Draco Malfoy, and I don't think he's in the trailer once. So that was kind of disappointing to me. However, it might also affect Supergirl Season 2, since it will now be on the CW.
I think it's gotta somehow.
Yeah, so the only thing I got out of this is the actor Chris Wood, who was in the Vampire Diaries Containment, all these other CW shows, is cast as a mysterious DC character who has pretty much been confirmed as Mon-El. Mon-El is, Kal-El is Superman, but he was a member of the Justice League Society, which is, or I guess Legion of Superheroes kind of thing. It's just another, like, alternate version of the Justice League.
Who knows? I don't know. I'm so not invested in Supergirl yet. So when anything gets announced, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm basically gonna make it their responsibility to catch me up with season 2 of Supergirl because I didn't watch season 1. So if they're gonna fold it in with the CW universe, hopefully they make it easy for me because I don't have the time to watch 23 episodes of Supergirl.
Yeah, so, I mean, the whole thing is Mon-El is what's called a Daxamite, which has the identical powers and looks of Kryptonians, but they're not Kryptonians. He's invulnerable to lead instead of kryptonite. So on and so forth. I don't know. We're going to see if that's it. I don't know. Supergirl, hook us. Get us in there. We'll watch it, maybe. So, yeah, that's it for the TV world. Not a lot of news out of CW's TV world. However, Warner Brothers brought the heat with their all-age panels. And the first thing we're going to talk about is actually the closest movie, which has Suicide Squad. I think we're 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away from Suicide Squad. The soundtrack trailer was released, and Mike asked me, what the hell is a soundtrack trailer?
Yeah.
So the past couple weeks, they've released, I think, one song off the Suicide Squad soundtrack a week, from 21 Pilots. This newest one was Skrillex and Rick Ross, with a song called Purple Lamborghini this week. So this is a 3-minute trailer featuring 1 minute of 3 songs off this trailer and showing a bunch of new footage. it's just got some new footage, and it's a trailer, final one. So if you're not sold, this trailer might do it for you.
So we had a final Suicide Squad trailer, but then we have another final trailer that has new footage in it. So they've had so many. I stopped watching them a couple months back just because it's a little excessive.
Yeah, well, the best part is I watch this and I still have no idea what's going on. So that's the best part about Suicide Squad. No matter what I see, I'm going to be completely clueless when I get in there in 2 weeks or a week and a half now. So if you're interested in that, this doesn't use any of the classical music that the first trailers use. It's all the new songs off the new album. So check it out and do that. And then after you're done with that, you can catch out the brand new Wonder Woman trailer. We got one.
Here we go. This was the best trailer of Comic-Con in my opinion. Warner Brothers really had to bring it this year. Obviously, everybody knows, especially everybody down at this convention, knows that Batman and Superman was a big old stinker, and Warner Brothers really needed to bring it. And they did. They came with trailers and images. And
then officially released them.
Yeah, and a lot more than anybody thought that we were going to be getting. So this Wonder Woman trailer was really surprising. I actually watched it second. We're going to talk about another trailer after this one, but I was like, I can wait to watch a Wonder Woman trailer. It's not a big deal, But man, when I watched it, the action scenes toward the second half of the trailer are just pretty astounding. I love that we kind of get an idea of where the story is going to go. It's definitely entrenched, pun intended, with World War I, with a lot of trench battle and warfare. A lot of people died in World War I, so I think that's going to shape a lot of the way that Wonder Woman sees mankind. But yeah, it was really great, and they brought in that Junkie XL score at the very end of the trailer to reveal her logo, and it really hit me, gave me goosebumps, and yeah, this trailer was really amazing.
Yeah, so I am actually kind of on the other side of the fence. I think this is a good trailer, but not the best trailer. I don't think Doctor Strange is up there, but the next trailer we're going to talk about is one of my favorites, and that might surprise a lot of people. But Wonder Woman, there's one thing I have to complain with it. A lot of it feels like some of the scenes pulled from Batman v Superman. Wonder Woman is in a small room with a bunch of people, and she has to take them down, much like Batman did at the warehouse, like dock warehouse. And there's a lot of slow motion in this trailer, and I think that bothered me a little bit. But I am still on board with Wonder Woman. I love the colors. I love the feel. It feels World War I. It doesn't feel like she is out of place in this World War I. Like her character is, and it looks like it. She looks like she's in World War I, and she's sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, she's got that shining armor. She's like knocking mortar shells away with her shield, and it's pretty sick.
It is awesome. So I mean, it's not a bad trailer by any means, but it's not my favorite. My favorite comes in the form of Justice League.
Yeah, I think maybe you can agree with me here, where I was not expecting to see a trailer, and the trailer we got was like a full-fledged trailer. This wasn't even like a teaser trailer. I was shocked that we got this much Justice League, especially for a movie that I was surprised comes out next winter. Isn't this November next year?
I believe so.
Which was amazing. Like, that's a strategic point of view. I mean, if they have this much of the movie filmed already, this does not need to be a winter movie. This could come out in the summer. So it seems like they're strategically putting this after the summer.
So it's November 17th, and well, the thing is, Batman v Superman, that was done for almost a year before they released it. Wonder Woman will have been done for over a year by the time they release it. So it's just DC's post-production. They spend a lot of time doing it. So I think that's in the norm for them. But we got a trailer, and it features all of the Justice League that have been confirmed, minus Green Lantern. We get to see The Flash. We get to see Cyborg. We get to see Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how funny was this trailer, Mike? Like, the humor was there. This is not a dark, dreary trailer. This is not a dark, dreary movie, I feel, like Batman v Superman was. I think they're actually listening to the critics.
I would hope so. I hope Zack Snyder can find a way to bring himself back from the places that he took Batman vs Superman. It seems like this is very much a Comic-Con trailer. It seems like if they were going to release a Justice League trailer outside of a convention, it would have been a lot different. It's a very oddly, I don't want to say oddly paced trailer, but it's very strange. It's more like a montage of meeting these characters. Very untraditional type of structure for a trailer.
Well, the thing is, we will have not met 3 of these characters by the time the movie rolls around. So they need to introduce them quickly and to the audiences that don't know. who they are. A couple things I was worried about. I was worried about how the Flash would look compared to how much we love the TV version. And as you can tell in this image we have of all 6 members, even Superman, isn't he dead? By the way, the Flash, his armor looks way different. His suit looks way different. He's covered in wires and red armor, very modular. But his effects on the screen, when he moves, the lightning is still going on around him. The way he moves in the trailer catching Batman's Batarang, which we described this scene a couple weeks ago, so I'm glad they had it in there. The way he moves is just awesome. It looks visually different, and I think it's going to be a great something we see on that we can only see on film and we'll never see on TV.
Yeah, I haven't really quite settled into the look of the Flash and Cyborg yet. I think I prefer kind of more of a spandex type of suit for the Flash, mainly because it seems to make sense for all the characters out there that could have a spandex suit. I would imagine the Flash would have one because he's very quick, and there's actually people that run out there in very slim, tight-fitting clothing. So I was kind of expecting a little bit more along that side. I kind of wish it didn't have that armor look, but maybe in the movie it'll look better. Cyborg just looks very strange. It's hard for me to emotionally connect with that character when he's just covered in CG. It doesn't look like he's covered in like mechanical parts. It looks like he's covered in CG.
Exactly. And this is, Cyborg, great we get to see a good look at Cyborg and what he's going to look like. But again, this is early. They have a year and a half to tweak this CG because that doesn't feel right yet. It feels very forced. And maybe because it's early, we'll give them a pass on this, Mike. They have I guess almost 17 months to work on this.
I mean, Aquaman looks sick. Obviously, they're carrying over the look of Wonder Woman, and she looks awesome. I'm really curious to see what happens when Superman comes back to life. Hopefully, he'll have a little bit more of a personality when he's reborn. It was. I think I'm just more shocked that we got Justice League footage to begin with. Not necessarily what's in the trailer, just that we had anything to look at.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and then kind of like how Aquaman, we don't see him actually doing anything in this other than being like absorbed by water. So the only reason we get to look at his suit is from the image you can see on our YouTube and our show notes, but he's not in that suit normally. But I don't know, I had a good time with Justice League, and that shocked me. I think that really shocked me. And if you guys also want to take a look at the individual logos for each character that they released, you can take a look at those through the link below. I'm not going to put them in the video. There's too many of them. And we all know that, Lex Luthor had someone pay to make those for his secret email files. But Justice League, I don't know, it's not what I expected the Justice League to be after the dumpster fire Batman v Superman was. And people might hate on me for saying that, but I'm looking up and up, and both these movie trailers, if they deliver on what they're promising, we're going to be talking entirely different come next year. Yeah. So I'm really excited for Justice League. Let us know. Aquaman, since we're talking about his look there, if you want to take a look, Will Beall is confirmed as the writer of the Aquaman movie, alongside James Wan's doing the script, or I guess the outline. But Will Beall was actually originally hired to write the Justice League before Chris Terrio joined in with Ben Affleck and did that. So he's got some news in, like some work in the DC stuff. So hopefully he can give us a good Aquaman movie and kind of stay true to where they're going. I don't know who Will Beall is other than that, so we're gonna move along.
Yeah, we'll just have to. I was kind of entranced looking at Aquaman and his armor right now. It looks pretty sick, so I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly, Justice League it's hard. Everyone's like, who won Comic-Con? I'm like, we did. We won.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I can't pick favorites out of each one. They both delivered on stuff we never thought they would, and we win. We get the best of every world. So that's great. Lastly, on the DC front, the Justice League action cartoon did a sizzle reel. It's not a trailer; it's a sizzle reel of like some of the action, and it feels very much like, oh, there's my train right on time outside.
All aboard the hype train.
Hype train. It looks a lot like Batman the Animated Series meets Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah, it kind of seems to be more wider, bigger eyes, a little bit more animated characters, especially when you get to see the action. It looks really, really cool. I do my best not to get too excited about animated superhero TV shows because, as we all know, they're around for 2 seasons and they never exist again. So I don't know. Maybe this one will stand the test of time more than anything else was.
Yeah. I don't know. We might as well just set in for like we got 2 seasons of this, and that's it. But it looks great, and I think they're branched out into some obscure characters, which is what you can do in animation, and that's why I compare it to Earth's Mightiest Heroes, because in the second season it really went wild and ran away and had some fun. So I'm hoping this can do the same. Mm-hmm. Speaking of TV shows, we got our first look at Peter Serafinowicz as the Tick in the Amazon Tick show, and I don't know how to take this.
I don't. You're the only one that I could ask about this, because I don't really know much about the Tick. So how do you feel? So
the mask is very much fits the comic book, but I don't know if you ever watched the original Tick show with I can't think of his name. He plays Joe Swanson's voice in Family Guy, and he's Putty in Seinfeld. So
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I feel bad because we got so much going on. But the Tick, this does not look like this is like too detailed, like for my liking. I don't know. The gloves don't fit his hands very well either. But again, the Tick is a parody thing to begin with. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. So we also know he's British. I kind of want to hear what he sounds like and see some clips of the show, which premieres August 19th. So we've got a couple weeks to wait.
It's a really crazy costume. It looks just really weird, but maybe that's just what makes it kind of funny, that it's just very detailed. Like he's got like abs and this giant cod piece in between his legs, and it kind of looks very insecty, like a tick. So maybe that's just gonna seem really weird in a very normal world, you know? Yeah.
Again, he's all parody, so I expect a lot of humor out of it, but it might be very dry humor that won't land very well. It will not latch onto us as much as a tick will in real life, if you will. Anyway, Game of Thrones. You watch Game of Thrones. I watch Game of Thrones. I'm not the biggest fan of Game of Thrones, but I watch it.
I love me some Game of Thrones. What do you got?
Okay, there are only 15 episodes left, Mike.
I had a feeling. That's one more than I thought. I thought we were going to be left with 14 episodes, maybe even 12, so that's awesome.
I'm hoping 15 in a movie, if you will. But next season is 7 episodes only instead of 10, and it's not premiering until the summer because they want to film actual in winter places.
Oh, wow. So it's almost kind of like double bad news, but you knew it was kind of coming anyway. Like, so not only are you only getting 7 episodes and then 8 episodes with the last season, but now we have to wait even longer. You know, Game of Thrones was usually a late spring show, so now we're gonna have to wait even longer. And I was like, oh man. So I don't know, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's awesome stuff, so I'll let them do whatever they want to do to make the best show because it's so good. But it's gonna be interesting to see how the show wraps up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we don't know. We are now beyond the books. The books can't tell us what's going on anymore. So we're all in brand new territory. We're gonna see how this goes. So sorry, it's shorter, and you have to wait a little longer. But you know, such is good television, if you will.
Such is life.
Much like the next show, which had to wait several years between seasons, Mike. Sherlock season 4 is finally coming out next year.
Finally, and we got a trailer.
The first trailer. This snuck under everyone's noses last night with the first trailer. We get to see Toby Jones, who played. He was one of the villains in the first Captain America movie. The scientist who put his body in the computer in Winter Soldier. I can't think of his name. God, I'm horrible at names today.
It's all right. I won't hold it against you.
But Toby Jones is the villain, and possibly it looks like every character Sherlock's ever interacted with is coming back this season, and they are not very happy with him as he's growing out his like goatee and stuff.
Isn't it just very bizarre watching this trailer? Since the last time we watched Sherlock, it was before they kind of became huge mega stars. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch is like, as some people say, at the height of his powers, if you will. And Martin Freeman is nothing to scoff at either. He was in 3 blockbuster Hobbit movies, plus he's been in some other awesome TV shows. So I'm just watching this trailer, and it's just very weird watching it. Like, these are mega stars, and they're returning back just to the BBC for a little TV show that we all love called Sherlock.
Well, I don't remember seeing Martin Freeman very often in this trailer. It's much more of a focus on Benedict Cumberbatch himself. So we'll definitely see that. I mean, this show started in 2010. And then the last season was actually aired on January 1st, 2014. So we will have waited 3 years by the time this comes out. So
oh yeah, wow, everybody's excited to get us some Sherlock.
It is. Also, South Park, one of the longest running animated shows I know of, at least I've watched every episode of, the 20th season has a new logo. So it looks like a football trophy kind of thing. So coming back September 14th for some more South Park, which I'm excited for. You excited for it?
Yeah. Oh, I love South Park.
Yeah. I quoted a lot of it over our bachelor party weekend because that's what we were watching during our wedding. So, or bachelor party, whatever. You been playing Pokemon? You mentioned that at the top of the show.
Yeah, man. I just reached level 15. I got myself a lucky egg. I'm getting ready to mass evolve some Rattatas and some Pidgeys to get some XP boosts. I got some 5 kilometer eggs ready to hatch. I just gotta set aside some time.
It is a very time intensive game, and they actually moved their panel to Hall H, but announced nothing today, which was kind of stupid. I was live, I guess, reading the panel, and it's pretty dumb. However, Legendary has optioned Detective Pikachu as the live action movie.
Okay.
Right? So, what the fuck's going on? I've been playing Pokemon Go, eating fruit roll-ups, and drinking Necto Cooler this week, Mike. What year is it? I'm very confused. So, Detective Pikachu, I guess we're coming. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I'll watch that. There's a line. I don't think I'll cross it. Kong Skull Island. We've talked about this before. The first trailer for the movie landed and actually stars several Marvel people, including Tom Hiddleston, who was Loki, Brie Larson, who is, going to be Captain Marvel, as we said, Samuel L. Jackson as, not Nick Fury, and John Goodman is in this movie. The trailer, it's okay. It's the big monkey on an island, and they have little guns. I don't know what to think of it.
It seems pretty intense. I'm curious, since it's called Skull Island, if that means they will not end up going to the, I guess, iconic scene of King Kong climbing a building, since he's huge now, so I don't know what building he's going to be climbing. I don't know, but maybe buildings have followed him now, since this is the modern day movie. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just stick to the island. It looks pretty intense. I think I might see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sold. I didn't watch the last King Kong movie yet, the Peter Jackson one, so I don't know if we're due for a new one, in my book. And lastly, the Emojimovie. Express yourself, Mike.
Is this how we're wrapping up the Comic-Con episode? This is how we're wrapping up the
Comic-Con. It's just that T.J. Miller is starring in the film, and he was in Deadpool, and I'm like, well, I guess he's funny.
Man, a lot of people have similar opinions with this movie. I tweeted a couple weeks back about Hollywood being dumb enough to make an emoji movie, and someone picked it up. I don't know, somebody with way more followers than I have, because I have no followers on Twitter, retweeted it, and then a bunch of people backed up on it. So now my most popular tweet out there is about the emoji movie sucking, so maybe it'll end up being true. But I mean, we all love TJ Miller, but I don't know what the hell this emoji movie is going to be about.
Yeah, well, apparently it's about an emoji who was born in a family that's smiling faces, but he has something wrong with him where he can become any emoji, and I don't know. Either way, TJ Miller's funny, but it's an animated movie, so we don't have to worry about a live action.
I'm sure. I mean, he's a big star now. I'm sure he just wants to cash that paycheck. I mean, how else do you get Kevin Spacey in a movie about a cock and cat? Hollywood's weird, people.
It is very weird. But that's all our San Diego Comic-Con 2016 news for the week.
Extra long episode.
It's a long episode, and we still have a spoiler cast on Star Trek Beyond to go. But I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush, Mike. If people want to follow you and see your Emojimovie tweets, where can they do that at?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics over at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to know if you get addicted to that Marvel Ultimate Alliance HD remake and you just can't peel yourself off the couch, where can they get updates from you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN, or on Comic UI, and I'll probably be putting my resume up online in case I do get addicted and need to find a new job afterwards. But not really. And then I know last year we gained our superfan Jim from our San Diego Comic-Con coverage, and we've had a year with him. Congratulations, Jim. And
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. But if people want to share this Comic-Con coverage with someone else who may not have been able to go, like you did, how can they do that, Mike?
Well, as always, you can visit our website at superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the places that we post the show, and also a great place to catch our show notes. These show notes are intensely packed this week, so there's a lot of links in there.
Links.
Links. But if you want to find the show, we are on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can subscribe to us and get us right in your email inbox. You can like us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter. If you're a fan of the show, please consider heading on over to iTunes and leaving us a review. That's really, really helpful. It helps us pop up in some fresh eyeballs and into some fresh earlobes. And if you're a super fan of the show, just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we really appreciate that. And I guess all that's left to say is stay tuned, subscribe, and our spoiler cast for Star Trek Beyond will pop up in your feed.
Yes, we will catch you guys then. See ya.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Nope, I'm pausing it halfway through. They're giving too much away. Don't want to know any more than that.